Yep. No worries. I get that question pretty often, because it's like, I mean, when it's at KW, you're not quite sure what platform it's supposed to be. Let me do share sound. Videos, you can see us, close. Right, minimize this, let's throw that down, so it's out of our way. I'm just gonna crack this door here too. Right. Sure. They can hear us in here. Come in. Should be able to hear us, and Genesis, I know you're online, so hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, send something in the chat, but if not, I'm gonna trust you. All right, guys, so basically thank you. All right, so basically the purpose of KWB Keys to Success is very similar to an orientation we actually used to call it KWB orientation. And really what we're gonna do is we're just gonna dive into KWB resources. This is gonna be our office resources page, and I would have highlighted this in your onboarding packet when we met. So this is gonna be one of those sites that I'm sure you will frequent. Since both of you do have your laptops, you're welcome to follow along if that matches your learning style, but if you'd rather just sit back and watch what I'm doing, that is not a problem, you're more than welcome to do the same. So we'll go ahead, now that we're at kwbresources.com, this is what's going to kind of be the home page, so you'll be able to recognize it very clearly. The first thing that we're gonna dive into today is this new agent tab, and that's right below where it says welcome to KW Valentine. So, oh, go to the home on the far left tab. And that's actually, yep, no, you're fine. It's everyone, I feel like sometimes arrives at a different spot and it's like a little stressful right away, like, wait a minute. So when you get to kwbresource.com and you hit that new agent tab, if you clicked on the getting started, learn more button here, on the left, it's really just going to highlight the onboarding process, a little bit more about the information we ask of you guys as part of that. The reason that we go over this is mainly because at any given time, somebody could be in the midst of onboarding versus all the way through like the two of you are, and Genesis as well. But in addition to all of that, it does talk about some things we can begin doing immediately. So at the bottom here, you'll see the first thing that they list is obviously getting comfortable with KWB resources. We're also going to go over the office training calendar today, where to find that on this website that you guys, so that way you guys can be plugged into everything we've got coming up. Joining Ignite, if you've not already done so, whether that's Ignite in our office or Ignite after dark. Ignite will actually be wrapping up the 20th session and graduation on Tuesday next week. So if you have not already jumped into Ignite, the next start date will be February 29th. So that is one to keep in mind, and then anything, if you've missed anything thus far, because you kind of got onboarded in the middle, you guys can join us again in February, or start of March and late February in order to kind of pick up on anything you may have missed. We'll talk about a couple key Facebook pages that I encourage you guys to be part of as well. Obviously attending office meetings, which this is one, so check that box. You guys are doing great. And then the last thing here is registering your vehicle with Torrington Preferred Parking. There's a hyperlink here for you guys to click on, and it's going to allow you actually to go straight to the preferred parking site, and you'll be able to register your vehicle. So with this being said, obviously we are moving facilities in the next month. During the month of March, we will be hopping just a little bit further down the road, but not by a lot. So this is only going to be relevant for you guys for this month, but it is still something I encourage you to do because it's free for you to do. But once you arrive at this page, you'll fill out a little login information, just create a quick sign up. It'll ask you to designate what building you're a part of. We are building 2, but you can tell kind of based off of the map above here. It'll ask you to select your employer, and you'll see in the drop down Keller Williams Valentine will appear. And then it'll allow you to register up to 3 vehicles. So if spouse, roommate, sister, friend, anybody's vehicle you may be driving at any point in time, and yours is in the shop, it may not hurt to go ahead and just add those on there as well. And that's really just so they can recognize your vehicle once it's in the lot, because technically there is designated parking. Not by space, but obviously by zones here.
So
Yep.
where do I park now? Today I parked at the visitors park.
So no worries, visitors, Uber, I think it's up to 2 hours, so this is perfect for what you're doing today. But for future, you'll park actually out in front of our building here. This entire triangular lot is designated for touring good too. So you'll be able to park pretty much anywhere out front of our building. And there's also, the lamp posts out there are like about halfway up the post colored to match what building you're with, so you'll see orange posts anywhere that we are. No worries,
I
no
wondered about
worries.
it was marked visitor, and I'm like,
You're
okay.
like, well, wait a minute, yeah, I know, anytime you see a visitor spot, you're like, okay, wait a minute, where do I? Yep, you guys are perfect for right now, and truly, they're pretty lenient, all things considered, but I never wanna risk anybody having any issues with that on my watch, so I would recommend just go ahead and register your vehicle, and then especially if you plan to be here regularly, you'll just never have to stress about anything happening, so. On the right-hand side here, under basic training, if you guys select the learn more option, this is actually gonna take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. And what I do here is, obviously there's so much we could dive into, because this whole site is full of great resources, but I try to touch on just a couple key things since we are looking at it right now together. But Scott Leroy Marketing, for those of you who don't already know, these are our third-party marketing consultant. They are who set up all of your KW technology. They got you the email, the website, all of that great information. So when you arrive at their website, you'll actually see the reason I showed this part is just because we happen to see the search feature right here. Some things that people don't know about Scott Leroy Marketing is beyond just setting up your technology, they're actually here to help support you guys as an additional resource. So you guys can utilize Scott Leroy Marketing at any point in time through our partnership with them. So if you guys actually were looking to create like a QR code, I know a lot of people have interest in doing that because they're becoming very popular, very easy to go ahead and sign up for different things. But a lot of times people don't know where to go to create one, and that's okay.
I think you use one. You saying like a virtual business card?
No, so a QR code so that people can scan it, and this could be for anything. So if you wanted to make a QR code at any point in time, I'm sure the virtual business card is very similar in concept, but this would apply to any site that you guys were trying to link to. So if you guys have maybe an online contact information form that you wanted people to plug into at your open houses, you could put out a QR code so people can scan it when they enter, fill out some basic information, capture their information very easily. But with all that being said, you guys can also utilize QR codes for personal marketing, anything like that. If you were looking to create one, you guys can do it through Scott Leroy Marketing for free and very quickly. All you do is use that search bar and type QR code, and immediately what will come up is a little form that you guys can fill out. And it's a couple questions asking you really what the link is that you're trying to connect to, along with your information so that they can get that right back to you. And I think at most, I would say it takes about an hour to get that information back. So they're very responsive, and they'll make sure that you guys are set up for success. So utilize this obviously, and feel free to search for any additional information that may be on their site. But the other thing I like to share with you guys, and I always look crazy because they keep making changes on their site, so it looks a little different almost every time I go in. But agent resources, you'll see it's a button rather than a drop-down menu right now. That's okay, we're just gonna click on that button. It'll ask you to type in our market center number, and that's 350. So that's gonna be the number you'll enter to log in. You'll start to see that number fairly frequently in your time here, because that is going to be how we identify as KW Valentine. Once you've typed in our market center number, you'll notice that this is now a drop-down menu. So once you guys arrive here, you can then go to training and training calendar. And I know, typically speaking, the reason I talk about this too is I know KW technology is phenomenal. It has been built up to be such a great tool for you guys to utilize, and it allows you to leverage a lot of your business. With all that being said, also because it is so great and we do it internally, it also means that if you've never been with Keller Williams before, you have no idea how to navigate it, and that's okay. So obviously we will have tons of great training opportunities in our office to teach you guys how to use those platforms. But in addition to that, Scott Leroy Marketing offers a live training calendar, and you can just scroll, and you'll see they actually offer a live training through Zoom surrounding your KW technology from 1 to 2 o'clock, and that's Monday through Friday. Jules and Leah are in-house tech coordinators who have a background with Scott Leroy actually. They do offer classes from 1 to 2 o'clock both Tuesdays and Thursdays, but obviously if that's not a great fit with your schedule, it may be difficult to get a lot of that training. So just know that this is also a tool you can use. They also vary their topics fairly often. So if you guys were looking just for basic command, that runs fairly consistently on Mondays. But if you guys were looking for a little bit more specific information, like, hey, I really want to target smart plans and learn how to do those, you'll see that they've got some specific focuses that they'll discuss throughout the month. So keep an eye out on what those topics are, because at some point in time, you may realize what you're really wanting to learn about. It's something they're right about to talk to you guys. And maybe something that Jules and Leah just covered, you might have missed. So it's a good supplement and nothing else. But of course, if you are dual career, or if you live further out, sometimes this is just a great opportunity for you to get the information without having to drive all the way into the office. So that is going to be another resource I encourage you guys to use. But the other thing I will share with you guys is under the store option here. This is where you guys can go to order business cards and name tags. So Agent Store is someone that through our partnership with Scott Leroy, we also have a partnership with Agent Store. So it's very simple. Again, you're not required to utilize Agent Store, but if you guys are maybe, I'm just looking to get something out there, I'm so excited to advertise my new business, and maybe creativity is not my strong suit. If you're looking for pre-done templates that are just plug and chug with your information, this is a great resource for you. You can order name tags, business cards, or package items. They're going to be a great tool for you, and it's a very, very simple process. The big thing when ordering your business cards is you will absolutely want to make sure, especially provisional brokers, that you're getting our big associate to approve the design before you print it. The only reason that we say that is because I would hate for you guys to print anything and then find out you can't use it, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you've wasted money. So what I will do is I'll talk a little bit more about who our big associate is, our wonderful Miss Tasha, and I'll share her information with you shortly. But that would be a great opportunity for you guys to get connected with her. And then the other thing I always mention when talking about the Agent Store is that their price point is very competitive. So again, you guys are welcome to go through Canva or Vistaprint if you're more creative and want something unique. But if you guys are looking for something quick and easy and for a great price, Agent Store is absolutely where it's at. I know for me, at least the template I chose, I was able to get 500 business cards for just $39. So very, very reasonable. So I will close out of Agent Store for now. And that's really the 3 key things I share on Scott Leroy Marketing's website. But of course, you guys are welcome to kind of dissect and play around with that website as well at your leisure. If we scroll a little bit further, we're still back at that new agent tab. You'll notice that these are some of the Facebook pages we discussed briefly earlier. The top 2 here are going to be our most active Facebook pages and the ones I would encourage you to join. The first is going to be an internal Facebook page, and it's just the agents in our office and the leadership team. So this way you guys can join onto this Facebook group. We are constantly in there communicating with each other about different things. Some agents you'll see are posting saying, hey, I've got an open house opportunity. I need someone to host it. It's a great way for you guys to get your foot in the door. Maybe you checked our vendor program and you said, oh my gosh, there's no electrician that I can trust out in Monroe according to the vendor thing. So let me reach out and just see if anyone knows of an electrician out in Monroe, and people will literally start screenshotting their contacts and just commenting with that information. So it's a really, really collaborative effort from our office and our agents, and it's a great way for you guys to get answers to some questions that you may have, and also maybe just, again, get the ball rolling in your business. Additionally, I'm on there at nauseam posting about all the great things that we've got coming up. So if you guys are looking to get plugged into those trainings and events, that is 100% a great place to find out what's going on. The second Facebook page just below here is our vendor Facebook page. So very, very similar in concept. This is also going to be a private Facebook group, and it's just our agents, our leadership team, and our vendor partners. So here at Keller Williams Valentine, we have a vendor program, and that's actually not something that's a staple for all KW offices. But the great thing about our vendor program is that all the vendors within it have been vetted by our own agents. So you can trust that it's a great service, a great product, and that they're reliable. So you know that you're giving your client a great suggestion of who can help them out. So the vendor Facebook page, again, just a great opportunity for you guys to get to know some of those vendors a little bit better. They're constantly on there talking about new products and services that they're offering, promotions that they're doing, anything like that. So absolutely one I would recommend joining in addition, and that's going to be this one right here. And all you guys have to do is click on the link, it'll take you right to the page, and you'll just be asked a couple questions before joining, and we'll be able to go ahead and accept your request to join. So those are the two I highly encourage you to participate in. Scroll us a bit further. The next portion here is Kellerisms, and I won't take the time to click on that one today, but Kellerisms essentially is a PDF breakdown of all the language you hear at Keller Williams, because you'll notice that some terminology seems specific to this office, maybe not used outside these doors, like I don't want to ask the question, but what is a capper? You know, anything like that, we fully understand because we do have a very developed and strong culture here, and as part of that, we have developed a little bit of our own language with it. So with that being said, if you guys are ever looking for some clarity on some of the terms you're hearing, that's a very easy reference guide. Of course, you're welcome to come to us and ask questions. You don't need to feel like it's an embarrassing question or feel shy, but if you do, or if it's a late hour, I fully understand if you want to reference this guide as well. We scroll a little bit further. In addition to Scott Leroy Marketing being a great support for anything troubleshooting or understanding your technology, KW Command, we also have a wonderful website built up all about the FAQs that come with Command and similar platforms. So if you've got any questions about any KW technology, how to navigate it, or hey, I'm seeing this error and you're trying to troubleshoot it, answers.kw.com, if you were to click on this button, it will actually take you to a website where you can immediately designate what platform you're working with, and then you'll be able to filtrate. There's several, like hundreds of articles on there. So you guys can search keywords to populate the articles most relevant to you and what you're experiencing. And then when you're scrolling through, you'll be able to read through solutions and how to work through those, or how to navigate something a little bit more effectively. And they'll also include screenshots. So it's pretty easy to follow along. It's not just kind of complete jargon. So that's a really great tool for you guys to utilize, especially if that's similar to your learning style. I know everyone's a little bit different, whether it's auditory, visual, but that's a really great opportunity for you guys to get some additional help with Command. Similarly, there's also a sister website called ideas.kw.com, and that's actually going to be basically, that's going to be all about that's going to be all about suggestions and your feedback about Command. So if you guys are working with it, maybe I'm a transfer agent, I've been somewhere before and I love the CRM there, and I wish I could see some of those features in Command, or I'm a brand new agent, I just want this to be as user friendly as possible. They're looking for your feedback. So if you guys have any feedback to provide at any point in time, you're welcome to share it on ideas.kw.com. And then as they're going through their updates, they're constantly searching through all the feedback and suggestions they receive in order to incorporate as many as possible. So one I would encourage you to check out. You can download some Ignite materials down here, but you can also download them very easily through our office training calendar. So I would recommend going that way. Speaking of, we do arrive at a convenient spot to access the training calendar. But one thing I will mention is you'll notice throughout this training today, there's several different ways to pull to the same information on our website. So in an effort to keep things very clear and easy rather than confusing, I'm going to try to show you guys the easiest way to pull to all this info. So we're going to bypass this training calendar access just because there's a lot of scrolling involved. We're in this one tab already, and I will make it much easier when we revisit it. At the very bottom, we talk about conference rooms. So obviously this is one of 6 conference rooms in our office. You guys are welcome to utilize these at any point in time. We encourage you to do so. Again, free resource for you as a part of our office. Each conference room we have varies in the capacity that it holds. So you guys will be able to easily select the conference room based off of what you're doing and what size you're kind of working with. This is going to be our largest conference room, the Susan George conference room, but we've got some that are 4-person. So definitely something to keep in mind. The big thing with our conference rooms is we actually encourage you guys to utilize them more for the collaborative efforts. You're meeting with your coach, meeting with a client, meeting with another agent to do any of the sort. That would be a great time to utilize the conference room. If you're really just looking for somewhere to kind of work quietly and independently, there are some other opportunities that you guys can utilize rather than booking the conference rooms, because we try to keep them on rotation so that our agents can constantly be using them. And usually we prefer to keep those bookings for 2 hours or less when you guys are using a conference room. But we do have some empty and vacant cubicles throughout the office. Actually, if you continued past the training room down that hallway, you'll see some that are marked as day desks, and those are great and specifically actually designated for you guys to utilize on rotation to do some quiet lead generation or anything if you wanted to have a more independent and private space. You're also welcome to utilize the hub area with the high top tables, the training room if it's ever open and not in use. You're also welcome to use the tech lounge that we have with all the computers. So if you forget your laptop one day, we've got you covered. Just log right into that computer and you're good to go. So conference rooms are a great resource and one I'd encourage you to take advantage of. We'll also have a great selection of conference rooms when we move to our new space as well. But registering to book a conference room is very, very simple. The easiest way, just because we're at the end of this tab here, is actually go underneath helpful links. You'll see schedule a conference room. That'll just save you guys some scrolling when you go to do this later. But you'll just create a quick login and then go ahead and open up to the spreadsheet. It's super easy to read. We tell you the name of the conference room at the top as well as its capacity, and then the time slots down the side. So you just drag and drop your appointment in the conference room and it's very, very easy. If you guys experience any issues with that, I am an admin on that page, so I can go on the back end and help facilitate any additional help with that if you need it. So I'll take you back to our homepage. So again, if you can believe it, that was all under one button.
So right there, how'd you get to Scotland Yard?
So under new agents,
Mhm.
and there's another way to do it as well, but this is the way we did it. We just
Oh,
click
there.
on learn more. Mhm.
Okay.
And I believe under tech resources, you can pull it up in this drop down as well. If it wanted to recognize me. Yep, Scotland Marketing, second from the bottom here. So now we're gonna just kind of scroll through on our homepage. So you'll notice that some things look like they're getting overlapped, hopefully not on your screens. It does seem like this website is a little dimension specific for your screens. So on my screen, when I'm editing it, it looks phenomenal. But then when I come in here, I look like I'm blind. But I promise you guys, it looks great on my screen. So once you guys have arrived at our homepage, you'll notice that this is gonna mimic a lot of the first page of your onboarding packets, and it's gonna go over our staff directory, tell you who each of us are, what we do, and how you can reach us. And we're all very friendly and prompt. And then as you scroll just a little bit lower, there is a can't miss video of the week. Ironically enough, I always say this has actually been up here for months, and I promise it's not because Jules and Leah completely forgot about it. It's actually because this is one of their best videos and very, very helpful. So it's 25 minutes in total, but all it is covering DocuSign and commands, the basic functions of both, and how to link your accounts so that you can have your documents populating in your opportunity. So one, I would highly recommend you guys taking a moment to utilize and watch at your convenience. Again, it's 25 minutes. The great thing is you can watch it at any time, but it's a really great tool in terms of how to connect your accounts, make sure they're up and running for success, and it's taught directly by you, which is always a plus. And if you guys ever have questions about DocuSign, you can talk to Scott Learning Marketing. They're very responsive, but as a general rule of thumb, Leah is our DocuSign queen, we call her. So anytime you guys have questions about that, she is going to be one of the best people to talk to. As we scroll a little bit further, we will eventually arrive at our office training calendar. The easiest way to arrive at it is if you actually just click on that tab, it'll drag you right where you want to go. But you'll see here that this is going to overview everything we've got coming up. But you'll notice some things look like they're kind of chopped off. It's not the easiest to read. So if you're having difficult time, if you click here to view a full calendar, it'll take you to a separate calendar view. Again, just kind of highlighting everything we've got going on here, it just makes it a little more legible. So what you'll do is you'll be able to see, okay, today is the 2nd, here's what we've got going on, but you'll be able to also see everything that's coming up for the rest of the month. You can even navigate ahead a month and see what's going on the next month as well, and keep going throughout the year if you prefer to, but this is an easy way for you guys to stay on top of what's being brought into the market center, what you guys may have interest in, and get signed up right away. You'll be able to, oh, go ahead.
So if I wanted to know what Power Hour was, would I be able to just click on it?
Yep, you got it. That's actually what I was about to say. Any events that you guys have questions on what you're viewing or maybe what that event entails, you guys can click on any of them. You'll be able to preview a full little description about the event. Any registration links that are required are posted as well. That way you guys can get signed up. And then there's usually an attached flyer as well, which there should be here, but I think you can go to more details and then preview the flyer. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I know I just did that before coming in here. So you guys will be able to see everything, and you'll even see at the end of the month here is where Ignite begins again. So it's a very useful tool and one I'd encourage you guys to definitely pay attention to.
Do you know when, The class, they call it bowl starts, like I said, October, but I
Yeah.
don't see it on here.
So we actually, for Bold, we have to actually reach out to KWRI and schedule that, and we have to go through trying to get a coach assigned to us as well. So we typically do not start coordinating that event until closer to the summertime, like July, August. But yes, Bold does come back every single October, so you're absolutely right about that. So you guys can expect Bold to, yep. So it's a really high intensity coaching opportunity essentially. It's 7 weeks. 7 weeks with a first step to Bold. The first step to Bold is free. You guys can come in and see what it's like, get a little taste of it before committing to sign up for it, because normally it is $7.99. But you guys would then get 7 straight weeks of coaching, and it's from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Once a week. So you guys would be getting pretty much 6 hours of coaching and a lot of accountability. So it's designed to really help you get a lot of your lead generation taken care of, really get those numbers up. And then if you guys don't see business during your time in Bold, we always say in real estate, you can expect anything you're doing today to impact you 90 days from now. So when you're doing all that in Bold, if you don't get the business during Bold, you can probably expect that business to follow during quarter 1 the following year. So yeah.
So that's $800.
Yep. And it's just and it's October through basically early December. And the week or the day of the week changes depending on, that particular year. This past year, I believe we were on Wednesdays. So you'll be able to, and you can honestly, if you wanted to go backwards on the calendar to last October, you'd be able to see a little bit more about Bold there. So definitely one to talk to your coach about, because your coach can share more information about Bold, as can Michelle. If we scroll a little bit further, our upcoming events here is just highlighting some of the recurring meetings in our office. All of these are actually posted to your Ignite graduation checklist, so that would be an easy way for you guys to keep track of when you can expect the next ALC meeting or team meeting, anything of the sort. ALC meetings are our Agent Leadership Council getting together to vote and make decisions on behalf of the Market Center, to be your agent body representative, because we do not like to make any decisions without consulting the agents and making sure it's something that helps to benefit you guys as well. We also have team meetings. Those are the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. They're high energy, crowded room, a lot of fun. We also bring in vendor partners for that as well. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to get a lot of excitement out of the way first thing in the morning. We're celebrating our agents. We're welcoming new agents. We're talking about what the market's doing. And then there's also a vendor fair just outside the door. So when you guys are done at the end of the meeting or on your way in, you'll see vendor partners that have volunteered their time to come in. It's a great way for you guys to get to mingle with them. A lot of times they bring treats as well, which is not a bad thing. And then Tech Tuesdays as well, kind of like I was saying. Jules and Leah run a tech class every Tuesday from 1 to 2 o'clock, and you guys are more than welcome to participate in those. They are always talking about something relevant to your KW technology. Sometimes, again, it's the basics, and sometimes we are talking about specific avenues for you guys to make your lives easier with a similar impact and efficiency. And a little bit further down, we will eventually arrive at Miss Sabra. She's our wonderful broker in charge. And then underneath here.
That was that was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
So do we get, we have to have a big one.
Yep, so Sabra is our big.
Okay.
We've also
For the
got.
whole office?
Yep. And we've also got Tasha Viney, she's our big associate. So between the two of them, they do oversee over 500 agents, so their jobs are crazy. But they are wonderful, wonderful people. They're both very patient and kind, so please never be afraid to ask them a question. What I would say is that Sabra, unfortunately, is not in the office on a day-to-day basis. So your best way to communicate with Sabra would be through email or by phone. For Tasha Viney, however, she is also easy to reach by phone and email, but she is in the office 3 days a week. So if you guys were ready to order your business cards, I've got my design ready, you can walk your laptop right over to Tasha and she'll be able to give you the approval. Obviously, if it's a day that she's in the office. And her office is located just behind the high top tables outside of our training room, and her door is always open. So if she's in, you'll be able to see right away. She's sitting back there with a smile on her face right outside of the hub. So very, very easy to connect with her. And then what I always also encourage is if it's more of an administrative question or not something that's very urgent, go to Tasha first. If it's something that's out of her wheelhouse, she'll absolutely refer you to Sabra. But Sabra, we try to say, go to her with the legal issues. My hair's on fire, my transaction's falling apart. that is who you'll want to talk to when that's going on. And then if you guys, I know it's only winter, but as we round over to the spring, you're looking to make sure that you're following along and getting all the requirements taken care of to keep your license active and renew. This is where you guys can check specific guides that help you to reference where you're at or teach you where to find where you're at and check your credits online as well. So these are gonna be some handy dandy tools as well. Scroll down a little bit further, now we've arrived at our Agent Leadership Council. These are the wonderful top producing agents in our office who are serving on the ALC this year. Essentially what this means is that each of them do operate successful businesses as full-time agents, but they do also volunteer some additional time of theirs to represent different committees at Valentine to make sure that Valentine is constantly growing in a great direction that's beneficial to the agents and making it an awesome place to be. So if you guys are looking to get connected with them, not only do they meet once a month to get together with just their committees, but you guys are welcome to provide suggestions, feedback, sit in on any of those meetings to just hear the conversations they're having and get a lot of information from them that way. They're also just very friendly, would love to talk to you, get to know you. And then obviously, again, we always say if you tap to anyone on the shoulder in the hall to ask them a quick question, more often than not, they're happy to help. I'd go so far as to say almost every single time they would say, yes, I can help you with that. The only times really being that they wouldn't is if they're on the phone or on the way out the door, but very, very helpful bunch here and also very, very good.
What do you know about Jay White?
Jay White, so he is one of our mega agent rainmaker or mega team rainmakers. So he has his own group, Jay White Group, powered by Place. It is through Keller Williams Valentine. He's actually just moved off site though, not that long ago. And he is now serving on career development, which is going to focus on the education and training part in here.
I saw I guess I stored it away when I got my license, you know, looking for a copy of my license.
Yeah.
Needed that information. I saw a letter from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm
Fine.
gonna go check him out.
I know a lot of people talking about.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. And actually, he will be teaching. So Jay actually does a monthly mastermind where he comes in, he kind of like, really the great thing about the mastermind is sometimes he will come in with a prepared topic that he wants to talk to you guys about. Other times he leaves it open-ended and he wants you guys to direct the conversation. You bring in any of your questions and you'll steer the direction he's headed in. So one I'd recommend definitely joining. It's actually our next one is February 19th. You'll see it on the calendar. He does a monthly mastermind. So that's one that you guys can hop in on, pick Jay's brain, even though you're not on his team. It's a great, great opportunity and he is full of good knowledge. So he's great. And then a little bit further down, you guys will see we've got our wonderful productivity coaches, now called business coaches. So nobody panic when they see productivity, like what is that? They're the same as your business coaches. So when you guys are first joining KW Valentine, especially as a brand new agent, we do like to get you guys set up with a business coach and a transaction partner. Your business coach is here to help you guys get set up for success with your business. They are going to give you guys some advice. They're also going to be able to hold you accountable. It's really easy to say, I'm going to get in the hub and lead generate for an hour every morning. It's really hard to do it every day. So they're here to help hold you accountable to your actions based off of the goals that you tell them you've got for yourself for the year. They also will pour into at group coaching sessions. They'll organize one-on-ones with you so they can have more independent conversations with you as well. But they're here to really help push your business into motion within that first year. And they are also just great to ask questions with in addition. Let's go a little bit further. So now we've arrived at our T-group partners, also known as transaction partners. This is another resource here in addition, and this is the other resource we assign you to as a brand new agent. Your T-group partner, your transaction partner, is an expert on all things contracts and forms. So your coaches will not be focusing in on the contracts and forms. They're going to go over more of the scripting, the lead generation tactics, and conversations around that. Whereas your T-group partner will meet weekly with you as well, and they're going to go over at length over the course. Actually, this is one that you'll stay in, but they do 12-week curriculum, so they roll back over after every 12 weeks. But for the first 6 weeks, they're talking about either buyer or sell side, and then the other 6 weeks they're talking about the opposite side of that transaction. So you guys have a very thorough knowledge of how to fill out each of the contracts and forms associated with either side of the transaction. So you'll feel really comfortable and confident going into those first few deals. The idea actually is that they'll be going over it to the point where you basically could probably fill out a basic template, so that when you guys have that first transaction, if it's not kind of in tandem with the time that you're meeting, you guys will be able to reference those templates and use them as a guide for when you're meeting with your first clients. right? Like, I like that. So that's a really great tool for you. And again, these are wonderful resource. What I always encourage is when it comes to questions about contracts or forms, anything of the sort, what you guys should absolutely do is reach out to your T group partner with those questions first. Again, if your T group partner says out of my wheelhouse, reach out to Tasha or reach out to Sabre at that point. But the T group partner really oversees about 50 agents maybe at max. So they're gonna just already have that relationship with you. It's gonna be one step easier to communicate with them about anything you guys have going on. So that they
You
can give
referring to the transaction.
yeah,
What was the term you said?
T group. It used to be called T group. We like very ever so slightly changed everything this year, and it's just not coming out of my mouth when I want it to. And then when we scroll down, you'll see a little bit more just helpful resources and links. These are all posted to the very top of the page though, so I'm gonna take us back up. I'm gonna actually go to the FAQ tab next, which is the next tab to the right. This is just gonna, again, give you an idea of what each of us on leadership does. Each of these tiles kind of give you like a basic question or a generic realm of a question. You hover over any of the tiles without clicking, you'll be able to see who on leadership is responsible for that, and then as well as their email address. So it's very easy to get plugged into with our leadership team. If you guys are realizing that your question is not up there and you have truly no idea from this reference guide who to reach out to, you're welcome to always come to me and I will help connect the dots for you. This next tab, we're gonna actually skip over the About tab and move to the On-Demand Training tab. And this tab will have a password protected screen here. So apparently this is already saved here, which is awesome. But the password for you guys, it's gonna be a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350, and that should be it. It's very similar to our Wi-Fi password, it's just missing one digit, so you guys will hopefully be able to remember that fairly easily. But once you hit go, you'll see here that we've got a split screen. So on the left-hand side, where you see the on-demand button, this will actually take you to our Keller Williams Valentine YouTube channel. So you guys can go to this channel and you'll be able to see past trainings that we've offered. And this, what I will immediately start out by saying is this is not every single training that we offer, because we do try to encourage obviously live participation in our classes as much as possible, whether that's through Zoom or in person. But we do offer recordings of our recurring meetings like orientation, Tech Tuesdays, team meetings. So if you guys ever miss any of that content but want to know what you may have missed out on, you guys can visit our YouTube channel and see that information posted here. And you'll see through the playlist, you'll be able to immediately know what's available through this site. And then you can go back in and figure out what you may have missed. I have every video dated as well, so you know exactly if it's the one that you most recently missed. The other thing I would mention in addition to this is that one of the downsides to YouTube, unfortunately, is that when I'm trying to upload a recording, if it for any reason senses that it's violating a policy of theirs, it will not allow me to publish it. It'll notify me to say, hey, we won't publish that for you. But other than that, you guys would not necessarily know, okay, so I can't find that DocuSign video, she must not have been able to publish it. So in the event that you're looking for something specific on here and you absolutely cannot find it, please reach out to me via email, because there's more than likely I should have access to that recording still, I just couldn't post it. So I'm happy to share that information with you if there's ever something specific you're looking for. But again, just always try to participate live as often as possible. And the main reason for that is not because we want to inconvenience you guys, it's actually just because, of course, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions in real time, which I think is invaluable. Take us back to the top and get us out of YouTube. But I am on there uploading probably once a week just to make sure that everything's as updated as possible. And then on the right hand side, since we were talking about scholarly marketing, how great they are, just like we have a YouTube channel, so does scholarly marketing. So I'm going to pause this video before it's really loud. But their YouTube channel, again, filled to the brim with all this great information about your technology. So if maybe the reading through the FAQs in answers.kw.com is not something that's going to match your learning style, but you do really well with doing this, watching someone do something and then replicating. That's an easy way to follow along. Scholarly Marketing will post videos of their live tech trainings. So you guys can also go through here. You'll see that they've got tech tips, which sometimes are just a couple minutes long. So you guys can easily glean a little bit off of those videos. But if you're looking for a full length training, maybe again, Jules and Leah just talked about DocuSign a couple weeks ago. They're not talking talking about it again anytime soon, but I really, really, really wanna make sure I know how to use the platform. You can easily jump over to Scott Women Marketing's YouTube channel, find a previous DocuSign training and watch through it.
Search for it.
Yep, exactly. And then you should be able to, I think it's this search icon you're gonna wanna use rather than that one, because that'll probably take you back to YouTube. But you'll be able to see, and they've also organized playlists here for you, so it gives you an idea of where you can find a lot of that information. But I will close out of that, but again, that's also great if we're dual career, if we live far, anything like that, guys, this is an opportunity for you to get all that information, but at a time that works best for your schedule, which I think is also great, because sometimes afternoons just don't work. Then we also have a little bit of information here about Ignite, but obviously you guys receive information about Ignite from me as part of your onboarding. So again, that was just the on-demand training tab, so essentially, just YouTube videos accessible to you at any point in time. This next tab here, before I click on it, I'm just gonna stay hovering over it, because you'll notice immediately that we have advertising guidelines and the do not call list in this drop-down menu. These are two of the most important things on this website, I would go so far to say. The advertising guidelines is going to give you guys an idea of what needs to be on your documents or on your marketing, anything like that, in order to be compliant. You also will have an idea of what you cannot have on that information. And I think it's important, obviously, because I don't want anyone to go to real estate jail. So please reference those advertising guidelines, especially if you're a provisional broker. Even if you go on to become a broker status, it's still important to just reference, make sure that you're understanding everything that you can and cannot have on your marketing. And then very similar, actually, if you click on this Destiny, that's where I was telling you earlier, you can find the logo files. Yep, so those are gonna be right in here. So you'll see there's advertising guidelines on the left, and then on the right in the middle, actually, it's the logo files for KW Valentine. But we'll just kind of go back up here just so you can see the menu again, and then the do not call list, which I think we're all fairly familiar with at this point in time, whether it was through school or through a little bit of Ignite. Very important that you guys know who is on that list, because you are at risk of very, very high fines if you inadvertently call the wrong person. So in order to avoid accidentally incurring a fine you definitely don't want, if you guys follow by clicking on that do not call list, it'll give you step-by-step instructions on how you can register to then know who is on that list and access that information.
Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
For the business cards, when I look on the list, I didn't see anything about the fair housing, I just seen the Keller Williams logo. But, I think I heard somebody in the class say you're supposed to have fair housing on it, do you, or you know?
I do not know the answer, that would be better for Tasha.
Somebody in the class said you're supposed to have the equal fair housing, logo on your business card, but it doesn't say it on it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure personally, because I'm not an agent, so I don't know a lot of the things you guys have to do. But talk to Tasha, her email address is there. Obviously, I know you've been in the office fairly frequently, so you can stop by and ask her when you're in for Ignite one day. But if it's easier, you can also follow me back to my desk, I'll give you her phone number. Tasha usually prefers actually call her or text her, she says that's her best way of communication. And she's obviously not just in person. So if you need her number, let me know, I'll get it for you. Because that is something you'll wanna ask Tasha. I don't wanna give anyone the wrong answer, and then either make you waste money or send you to real estate jail myself, that's not fun. So if we just click on the office resources tab again, just the actual tab itself, the tab will open up and you'll see here, we've got some additional blanks, or we've got some additional avenues and access points. So I know both of us in the room are North Carolina licensed, I know Genesis is online as well. So on the left-hand side here under the Get Forms button, if you click on that, this will take you to a Google Drive folder that Ms. Sabra designed herself. It's all the KW Valentine specific forms that she felt she was most commonly asked for. So if you're looking for a W-9, because you're working a referral, that is where you can access our W-9. Working with real estate disclosure, working with real estate brochure, anything like that. We've also got some referral agreements in here for us, disclosures about our partnerships with title companies, lenders, things like that. We've also got information as well on lot disclosures. Septic and sewer is one you guys will absolutely hear about, the fact that you'll need it at some point in time. So again, these are not your contract and state, your contract specific state forms. These are just specific to Valentine for the most part. So anytime you guys are looking for those additional documents that you know are more relevant to us as a firm, rather than coming directly from the North Carolina Real Estate Commission or Canopy, this is where you guys can access a lot of that information. Any forms that you're not seeing in here when looking, more than likely will populate for you in your DocuSign once you've inputted your NERDS number. So watch that video we talked about in the very beginning. Leah will show you how to add your NERDS number. But once you've done that successfully, you should have those contracts and forms populate for you in your DocuSign rooms. So anything not in your DocuSign, check this Google Drive folder. Anything not in the Google Drive folder, check your DocuSign. Pretty simple. Between the two, you guys should have access to everything you're looking for. We'll close out of that. If either of you or Genesis goes on to become South Carolina licensed, you can find the exact same forms for South Carolina on this right-hand side. And then in the middle under Get Checklist, Miss Sabra also created these wonderful checklists herself and truly like drafted from start to finish herself. And these go over literally everything you're responsible for as an agent for either side of the transaction for North or South Carolina. So no matter what business you are doing, there is a checklist out there for you, and it really is just highlighting everything you need to make sure happens and when it needs to happen by. So that way you guys can feel as comfortable and confident as possible going into those first few transactions, knowing you got all your ducks in a row and you didn't miss anything along the way. I know before it's muscle memory, it's a lot to try to keep in your brain. So utilize these guys. They are a reference for you at any point in time, whether you're pulling it up digitally just to double check something or you're physically printing it out and following along with it. No wrong answers, but these checklists will be a friend to you as often as you would like to use them. And like I said, those are for not only North Carolina, but South as well, and either side of the transaction. So you'll be able to identify that in the title of the document. I'll close out of that. So again, this is our office resources page here, and we've got all of the contracts or we've got all of the KW Valentine forms and our checklists available. I'm also going to introduce you guys to the CE shop for those of you who are not familiar. That's going to be a real estate education resource for you guys. The reason that I'm going to take you to this website is for just a couple quick conversations. The first is obviously we do partner with real estate schools. We partner with both the CE shop and Superior. Through our partnership, we have discounts with both resources. So I will show you where you guys can access those discounts at a separate point on our page. But while we're on the CE Shop's website, a couple things I like to mention. The first is if you guys are ready to go get that South Carolina license, because that's really speaking to you and you want to have that as a tool in your tool belt, but maybe you're not quite convinced you can commit to full-time in-person learning at Superior or something along those lines, but maybe you've not quite tried the self-paced learning yet. CE Shop actually offers a free trial of self-paced learning. So I've heard a couple things about self-paced and it sounds like it's usually a hit or miss. So it either works really well for your learning style or people truly struggle with it. And there's nothing wrong with either way. It's all about finding something that fits for you. So if you guys are tempted to try out self-paced, this is a way for you guys to test it out, see how it works for you. If you hated it and you said that was terrible, I don't want to do it again, then you guys can walk away from that trial with no cost in the game. You guys are good to go. They don't ask for that credit card up front. But if you loved it and your score was great so far, you can then register to continue on with that course. And it's a very simple process. You'll pay right then and there and you'll be able to move forward with the content. So something to consider when you guys are thinking about maybe getting another license is that CE Shop does offer a free trial of self-paced, because I know that that sets them apart from a lot. And then this is the other part. So it used to be under here, there used to be a little thing called Hot Topics and they moved it on me. So now, again, I just look like I'm giving you the hardest things to memorize. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see there's an Agent Essentials tab. That used to be up top, so I'm not crazy. But the hot topics right here in small print, this is what I like to talk about with you guys. Obviously, with this day and age, social media marketing has become a huge hit and a huge success for a lot of people. If that is something that you guys would like to integrate into your business, I absolutely encourage it. Obviously, Jules and Lee are going to be a great resource for you guys in understanding how to navigate social media in a way that's going to keep your content relevant and in front of people. But the big thing, obviously, is that with social media marketing, the most important thing is that you are, one, posting regularly because you want to keep the page active and in front of people. Two, that you are also diversifying the content that you're sharing on that page. You don't want to keep it all the same. People will tune out and they'll either unfollow you or just stop paying attention entirely. So in an effort to show you guys some avenues if you're struggling with content or what you want to share, Hot Topics is actually gonna be a tool for you guys. It's a whole library of blogs, ebooks, podcasts, and videos, all related to real estate. So whether it's an informative piece about what's going on in the market right now, or it's something that's a little more lighthearted and humorous, like DIY Did I Do This was one, it's all about DIY fails. So anything like that, you guys not only can glean a little bit of information for yourselves from, but you're also welcome to literally copy and paste the link to that on your Facebook and just post that. And so what I always say is it's easy cheat sheet, hit the easy button some days, don't absolutely kill yourself trying to come up with creative ideas every single day, because at some point you are gonna wanna hit the easy button, and this is a great way to do it. So this is an easy way for you guys to have access to tons of amazing information, and they're updating it regularly. So just check it out, whether, depending on what kind of platform you like or media you like, this will be an easy way for you guys to filtrate based off of that.
Can I ask you a question?
Excuse me?
About the South Carolina license, so when you take the class, do you have to take national and state tests again?
Again, not gonna be the best person,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Teresa said,
I think
talk
it's
with
a,
Teresa.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's a little different, because ideally you should be able to use the reciprocity factor.
She said you can take the state, but now you have to take the classes.
Right.
There we go.
Before then, you didn't have to take. the
Yes, I was gonna say,
State.
cause, and I was like, I knew something before, but I also knew they just changed it. So that is probably the most accurate answer based off of 2024 policy. But again, if you have questions, Sasha's gonna be a great. Of course, I just feel bad, because when it comes to like the actual agent questions, the ones you guys are dying to ask, I'm like, I don't know, I'm an admin. Other people know more than I do, don't feel like you can't ask other people questions. But let me go ahead, I'm gonna close out of CE Shop just for right now, but those are the two things I like to share. Again, you guys could spend hours probably navigating that site if you wanted to. I won't make you, but they do also offer, again, that self-paced learning for all states. For the most part, you'll see in their menus when you're looking at the courses, they offer a lot of states. So if maybe you're from California and you're not gonna fly out there to take a class, but you're interested in getting your license strictly for, hey, like my buddies are still out there, that's an easy way for you guys to go ahead and sign up for self-paced learning, get that California license, and you're up and running. So keep that in mind as you guys are continuing on with your real estate education. You'll also have access to our Explorer plan just below that. It's not even gonna be accurate in like a month from now, so use it as much as you'd like. I don't know that I've ever really seen anybody using it, but I also know our building's in really funny shape. So if you guys needed help navigating, absolutely reference that. I know I was confused for like 2 straight weeks here. And then as you guys scroll down even further, there are numbers to know. So these are numbers you might not be using all the time, but important ones that you'll be asked for on occasion. So one of those being, hey, I am getting that South Carolina license, Liz, I'm so excited, but on my application it's asking me for our firm license number in South Carolina, I have no idea what that is. That's something that would be posted right here. Also, if you guys have those referrals going on, you need our federal tax ID. That information is also shared here. So again, something you might not be asked for as frequently, but when you are asked for it, it's like, oh crap, where is that? This is where you guys can find that information, and it's just at the bottom of our office resources page. So then also, like I said, if you click that office calendar button, it's gonna pull you right where you wanna go. Boom, we are done. It takes us exactly there. Under our tech resources, and I'll just kind of talk about a few of these here. The Marty Miller for Teams would be one, again, I would encourage. If you guys are fans of chunking things down rather than committing an entire evening to potential frustration and maybe confusion, you like to make things a more digestible process over a span of more time. What you can do is Marty Miller for Teams. It's a 66-day challenge. It's YouTube videos, and it is 66 different videos. I don't think any single one of them is longer than 10 minutes, but it's gonna walk you through bit by bit how you guys can complete your marketing profile. So this is a way for you guys to then take the initial setup Scott Leroy Marketing creates for you, and then just amplify that extra step so that it's a thorough and completed marketing profile. So if you guys wanted assistance with that, again, it's a YouTube style, so they're showing you how to do it. So it's very easy to replicate on your end. But again, it's just something that helps you guys to do something that's maybe a larger task and make it less daunting by stretching it out a little further and less time commitment. So If that speaks to you in your learning style and something that's of interest to you, please utilize it as a tool. I know some teams here absolutely love that resource. If it does not speak to you because you're not really intimidated by technology, don't worry about it. You don't have to use it, but it is there for your reference. The other thing I'll mention is Pivot Shift Ahead. You'll hear a lot of our top producing agents talk about this one. I know for a fact if you guys take an Ignite class with Jenny Lineage, she will absolutely put it on the board. Pivot Shift Ahead is run by a gentleman named James Shaw. He's based out of Florida and he's very high up in the education world at KW. James Shaw has been a realtor for a very long time, so he has navigated shifting markets and recessions before. He was able to successfully get out of that situation and stay on top in the real estate world. So if you guys are nervous because you've heard, rumors about the market's doing some funny things, and I want to make sure obviously what I'm doing is going to be a successful tactic, James Shaw does a live Facebook call from 8 to 8:30, Monday through Friday. And that's in the morning, 8 to 8:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and he's actually just sharing ideas of how you guys can be successfully navigating the shifting market on a day-to-day basis. So he's constantly providing new ideas for you guys to implement based off of his experience. He's also highlighting other agents, maybe in this area, maybe outside of this area across the country, that are having success with some of the tactics that they're using. So, and one of the things that you'll hear as well is rip off and duplicate. It sounds terrible because you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I remember in school plagiarism was terrible, but actually in real estate, we encourage you to rip off and duplicate as much as you can. It saves you guys a lot of heartache and headache trying to reinvent the wheel. So if you guys see something out there that you like and you want to replicate on your end, that's something we encourage you to do. So what I would suggest is if you're looking for some inspiration about what you guys can be utilizing in your business, Pivot Shift Ahead is just another avenue for you to get some inspiration from others that are having success using this exact product or doing this exact step. And the other great thing, again, because it's such a collaborative world within Keller Williams, if you actually if somebody asked on that Facebook group, because it is a private Facebook, if you guys ask in that Facebook group, like, hey, I love so-and-so's golden letter, would you be willing to share your script? People will do that. People will share scripts with you. So definitely something just to consider being part of if it speaks to you. I think it's a great opportunity. Again, you don't even have to plug into it. You might as well just be a part of it though, right? So you have the opportunity to later on if you'd like, but definitely a great resource. And like I said, Jenny Lineage will bring it up and she'll probably try to force you to join it. But Jenny's great. So Pivot Shift Ahead is another great resource for you. Now under helpful links, I'll just talk about a couple of things here. If you ever miss an ALC meeting, when all of the ALC committees get together and make those big votes on behalf of the market center, you want to know what they talked about, that's a Google Drive folder that'll take you to the meeting minutes, so you guys can easily see what was discussed. Underneath here, more of a talking point for me is our prayer request form, and really what that is just emphasizing to you guys, we sincerely consider you family when we call you our KW Valentine family. So if there's ever anything going on in your world, please just keep us privy to that because we want to be able to be here for you and support you in any way we can. Even if that's simply just praying for you as a leadership team, we're happy to do that. If we can do anything more, of course we will. And if you're a big believer in the power of prayer, we are happy to also extend that message and share what's going on in your world to our entire agent base. And that way you guys can get even more prayer power. So really, you guys are our family. Please keep us in the loop. We want to be able to support you as best we can. And then underneath there, KW Perks. Welcome to independent contracting, guys. You don't have insurance through work anymore. If that is something that is absolutely terrifying to you, I get it. KW Perks is actually something that was unveiled recently within the past year. KW Perks is partnered, so Keller Williams has partnered with Capstone Financial. So if you guys actually click on KW Perks, you guys can shop the insurance marketplace for different policies that may work for you. And on average, agents are saving, I know it's upwards of 10% by using KW Perks. So it's something to consider as you guys may be dabbling into getting insurance. It's always obviously important to have insurance, but I know it's also not so fun to pay for insurance. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at KW Perks. Maybe even if you have insurance, it cannot hurt. Maybe there's something better out there for you that now you can get a slight save on because of your realtor affiliation with Keller Williams. So just keep that in mind. That's another really great tool. Lastly is this discount codes for real estate education underneath. You click on that. It will take you to our discount codes. As I mentioned, we partner with CE Shop, but we also partner with Superior. So Superior, if you'd rather do the live trainings, whether through Zoom or in person, because that's better for your learning style, we partner with them as well. There's actually Superior just down the road here. And this way you guys can access codes. The big thing with Superior is it's not one overarching code. that you guys can use, like CE Shop. You guys will actually want to access separate web links, so just make sure you're reading, because it'll say pre-licensing for Superior, post-licensing, or continuing education. Just make sure you're paying attention so you can get straight to where you're looking for. Going back to helpful links briefly, scheduling a conference room, like I mentioned earlier, guys. If you guys select the strategic vendor partners, this takes you to our vendor spreadsheet. It tracks all of the vendors we've got in our program and gives you an idea of who they are, what they do, their contact information, and it's all organized by the industry they're in. So it's super, super easy for you guys to go in for home inspector, and you'll see we have 6 home inspectors right then and there. You guys can easily grab their information, see who's able to come out and take a look at your property real quick. Absolutely something I'd encourage you to do. You will also see in a couple categories, we might have fewer vendors. Maybe we don't, I know PJ's been saying recently, we're looking for landscapers, we're looking for garage door companies. You guys know anyone from your own world or experience that specializes in anything like that, and you want to offer a mutually beneficial opportunity, you guys can talk to them about our vendor program. The vendors also gain something out of that because they now have access to 500 agents. So it's a really, really great win-win, where you guys can reward them as being such a great vendor and someone who's a great contractor who helps you guys out by then referring them to our vendor program. Very, very easy process. All you guys have to do is connect them via email with PJ Kennedy, and his business cards are actually up at the front desk, so it's super, super easy to do that. I would say there's definitely a good chunk of different categories we're looking for right now. So truly, anyone in your world, if you know that I love the service and the product, let us know. We would love to talk to them. Think Like a CEO podcast is Gary Keller and Jade Papasan. If you're a podcast listener, it's really just the two of them, which are like the biggest minds, if you will, in Keller Williams. The two of them going over setting yourself up for success as a business owner, surrounding that entrepreneurial concept and mindset regularly. They have an entire season actually dedicated just to the financials. So something I would definitely encourage, again, if you're a podcast listener and you want to have that kind of motivation, that constant information coming through, that's a good one. And then the last thing is Outfront Magazine. I'll just, again, briefly touch on it. If we're looking for that rip off and duplicate, that easy button when it comes to social media, because again, it's hard to generate content that's original every single day. Outfront Magazine publishes monthly an idea for a post that you can do every single day. So it might not just be copying and pasting, it might be like, here's an idea and now you run with it on your own. But again, it's just helping simplify it for you guys. So in the event that you guys are thinking, it's just a rainy Tuesday, like what the heck am I supposed to say? They will give you an idea already published and out there so that you can easily reference and then put something out on your own page. If you click on this Facebook link, it'll take you to our private Facebook group with just the agents and the leadership team. So you guys can go ahead and request to join the page. The last thing I share with you guys on this is I need tech help. You click on that button, it allows you guys to schedule time with Jules and Leah. And this could be just sort of an intro of like, hey, I'm new. I just want to know the basics of what I need to do. Like, what are the first 3 things I should do with my technology? They'll tell you, they'll offer to help you with it, whatever that looks like. Or if you guys are growing and you're excited and maybe social media has been a super successful portion of my business, but I hate it. that happens, and you obviously don't want to give up that lead generation avenue. So in the event that you absolutely hate it, Jules and Leah also offer concierge marketing services. So if you wanted to, you could then establish a plan with them, and then they would be able to do your social media for you. So they're not just social media, they do listing presentations, they do buyer presentations, they do it all, truly. They do newsletters that they'll send out to your sphere for you regularly so that you're touching your database. They'll make smart plans for you so that you never even have to reach out to your database. They're just constantly thinking you're reaching out to them because you've got this automated email blast going out. So they know pretty much everything there is to your technology and how to use it at the highest level. So whether you guys were looking just for that foundational information or you want to have those higher level conversations, they'll either show you how to do it or they'll offer to do it for you if you guys want to establish a plan. So something to keep in mind, but this allows you guys to book 30 minutes of time on their calendar for free. And you can specify if that's an in-person meeting or through Zoom. You can notify them about what you want to talk about so they can prepare ahead of time. And then you guys can absolutely hit the ground running as soon as you sit down together. So one I would definitely encourage because they are great. So absolutely some great information shared on this page. I think always a little bit more than meets the eye initially. And so that's part of why we have a whole training dedicated to this. I do want to look at one quick other thing real quick and see if it's going to let me in. Because usually if I'm logged in on one,
Somebody else.
oh, thank you. That scared me. I was like, wait a minute, that's not what I typed. Sometimes it will not let me in if I'm logged in on my other computer, but we're gonna try. Ooh, that's a good sign. So the last thing, if it's okay to take like 2 more minutes of you guys' time today, because I appreciate y'all being here. The last thing I'm gonna share, it is a separate website. And I just really want to make sure that I can log in real quick before I agree to do this. This is going to show you guys another great way to minimal effort but large result, how to communicate with every agent in the office at one time, and that's through email blast. You guys don't have to have everyone's email on hand in order to do that, but I like to share this because we realized over the course of last year, this wasn't really getting talked about in any of those key initial trainings, and we wanted to make sure it was hit on because it's a very good tactic for you guys. So what you'll do is you'll go to mykw.kw.com. And you guys can ignore this KW internet portion here. You'll go to mykw.kw.com. It's gonna ask you to log in like it just did with me. The login credentials that you guys will use are the same ones we created when we met and that you're using to access command. So you guys can also get into this as well as soon as you would like to. But when you arrive here, this is the kind of page you'll be greeted with. What I really am gonna focus in, although again, you guys can do plenty on this page as well. The real thing I'm gonna touch on, just because we are going over today, is this intranet button. So I always scroll down personally. There is an option in the middle here, but I always find it easier to just go to the bottom. You'll see quick links. There's 6 options. When you see my KW MC350 intranet, click on that. Oh my goodness, that is very zoomed in. Wow, that was unexpected. Okay. Is it gonna make me do it again? This is where I'm waiting. Not be able to get in, but we'll try. Okay, so it's gonna tell me that it's invalid, that's fine. If you guys are okay with it, I will literally be in my office, close out of the tab, and then I can show you the next step. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I just feel bad. I don't like keeping y'all late, like it just seems so rude. So give me 1 second, I'll be right back.
It's
That should be good. We shall see. Okay. We're gonna try it one more time. I don't know why I put it. I disagree. If I cannot get into this, in like a minute or 2, I don't wanna hold you. I do have a recording of this process, so I can show you guys how to do it. There's just no audio to it. That's the only downside, but it will have everything you're looking for. Otherwise, I'm gonna try to just log out and see if that's what we need to do. Yeah, please. Nope, okay, well, that's fine. I didn't wanna show you guys anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I will send both of you guys a quick video, and then Genesis, if she's still on, yep, I will send it to Genesis as well. So essentially what it's going to be is how to send an email blast. It's a very easy process. When you guys get this video, it's gonna come through, and basically what you'll do is you'll watch me create a market center post. Actually an associate post. I do market center posts. You guys will do an associate post. You would watch me create an associate post. When you see me filling out the subject line of this post, that's gonna come through as the subject line of your email. And then when you guys see me typing in the quick blurb, it's the box that shows up right in the middle of your screen, and it's got a character max of 190 characters. That's gonna be me, that's gonna come through as the email body. So again, it's only 190 characters, so you wanna keep it brief, but obviously sometimes that's not quite enough to fill out what you need. So in that event, what I always say is when you're filling out your 190 character max, make the last sentence somehow find a way to give yourself enough to say, see full post. Make that your last sentence because it's gonna tell people they're reading it, there's more information to be shared, and I wanna make sure that I'm getting all of it. Because when this email comes through, if I'm receiving your email, I'll see your subject line at the top, I'll see the body of the email, and then I'll see that you noted see full post. There will be a blue button right below there that says view full post. So if I click on it, it'll take me directly to your post in the intranet. I'll be able to preview all of the information in addition to that you shared. You guys will also have the opportunity to attach links to this. You guys will have an opportunity to also attach any PDFs or JPEGs that you need to. So it's a really great way to communicate. There will be channels, and you'll see all of this, and it'll make more sense when you see it. But you can designate a channel based off of what you're asking or what you're sharing. The most general, of course, is just agent announcement, because obviously that's just a generalized, but if you guys were open houses specifically, there's a channel for open houses. If you were like looking for a vendor or something like that, there's a channel for that. And then also if you guys were looking to just say I need or have or want something, you guys can use a channel for that. And the channel that you select doesn't change anything unless somebody were filtering just by channel. So you guys will, everything will still have equal visibility, no matter what channel you designate, but just whatever makes the most sense for what you're sharing. So it's a super, super easy process. Once you've filled out your little post, all you have to do is hit the publish post button in red at the bottom corner. It's a very, it sounds like a lot, I promise, but it is very easy, and you'll see in the video, because the video, I was gonna say, but I was gonna say, the video itself is literally like 2 minutes, so like, you guys will be like, oh, okay, so it was that easy. And I think I'm sitting there like drafting one too that I just made up. But so that's a really easy way for you guys to communicate, because obviously, our Facebook is a very primary avenue for communications between our agents. However, with social media, if not enough people interact with your post, sometimes it can drop down and you don't see it.
Right.
And that's just the beauty and the pain of course, social media. So if you wanted to do an email blast to get your message out instead, this is a great way to guarantee it's reaching everybody, and it'll be something that they can access very easily. That's the real reason I like to share it in addition to that Facebook page, is because sometimes it may just make more sense to do an email blast, especially if you're like, hey, my seller is like, we're closing tomorrow, and they need to get rid of their washer and dryer. They cannot take it with them. They don't want to, buyers don't want it. We're just looking to offload it. You guys can put that on the Facebook, and you can email blast it, whatever you need to do to get the message out. But it's a really, really easy avenue for you guys to connect with everyone. Obviously, as you can see, we don't have all 500 of us in here at one time. So that's really all I was gonna share with you. I will, like I said, email both of you guys a copy of that. I'll email it to your KW email addresses, which you guys can open up through Gmail. And you'll just log in using your KW email address and then the password we created when we met. And that should really be everything. But of course, any questions that anybody has today, based off of either what we shared or maybe just in general, I'm happy to answer.
The T group partner, have you assigned?
So I'll reach out to you via email and ask you, you already responded to me,
Right.
you said Tuesdays, right?
Right.
I was like, wait a minute, I already reached out to you and I saw your response. So I was not able to assign you one earlier this morning. I'm gonna do that before I leave today though. So by the time that I'll respond to your email, just so you know, hey, I'll add you to that group in a minute. And then I'll send you an email as well. That email will have some information in it. There'll be some attachments to the email. One's gonna have your T-Group partners information. You're also gonna have something with the privilege license, so more information on that. Privilege license, it's something required by North Carolina. As an independent contractor, you have to have a privilege license. It's like $50, I think it is. But you'll fill out, the application will be there with directions on how to fill it out. You'll fill that out and mail a check to the Department of Revenue. That's the address is the bottom of the form. So a little bit more information on that. If you guys have further questions about privilege license, no worries. So it'll come when you, it should have been in your welcome to KW Valentine area email when I introduced you to your T-Group partner. So if you see that. So it should be in your email. Try welcome to KW Valentine here. Yeah. Try to search.
In my personal?
Personal or KW, because I usually try to put both emails on there for you guys. Just because I know sometimes when we're brand new, we're transitioning over and I don't want you to miss anything. There you go. And so if you scroll down, one of those will be that blue one on the far right. That's the privilege license application. Far right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I always confuse right from left, and that's why I was like, before I even said that, I was like, oh, I hope I'm not about to embarrass myself. So that's the privilege license application. If you've got questions about how to fill that out, Tasha's gonna be a great resource for you.
Email this to the DMV?
Nope, so you're gonna fill that out.
IRS.
Nope, so you're gonna fill that out by hand and then you're gonna mail it physically to the Department of Revenue and their address is at the bottom of that form. Yep, and you'll mail it, I think it's with a check for $50, but they are doing away with it. It's part of this year, but they are keeping it active until June. So you guys will pay your $50, you'll only do this once rather than having to renew it every year, which is at least a positive. So you guys will only truly have to go through that process one time, which is awesome. And you'll just wanna do that at your convenience.
Privilege, I
That's what it's called, yeah.
Well,
Then
do,
I was gonna say,
I just wanna know what it's about, privilege
So-
to do what?
yeah, privileged to be an independent contractor, I guess, self-employed in the state, it's just, again, crazy because it's not even, like, that's a state thing, so no matter what firm, no matter what industry, like, my husband used to have residential contracting business. He had to also have a privilege license just to be an independent contractor for that.
No matter who you're associated with?
It's a state requirement.
So if I paid it already with a different entity, you still have to pay it?
You should, then that should be okay. I would recommend if you've already paid the privilege license, application for your real estate business, then I would reach out to the Department of Revenue and say, hey,
That's what I was asking, I have a 1099 for my flooring business.
okay, so I would
So I don't know.
still, I would reach out to them just to ask, do I need to have another one on file or will that qualify? And they should be able to give you more information on that, because I don't wanna steer you in the wrong direction, tell you you don't need another one, but I also don't wanna make you waste money on a second if you don't need it.
I figured out.
Yep,
Is that deadline we need to have that on?
no, so it's just the sooner the better,
Mhm.
because, essentially, like, if you waited way too long, you can receive garnishments for it, but by way too long, I mean like over a year. So, as long as you can get that taken care of in the next couple weeks, even next month, that will all be good, and then with that, I'll send you, that'll be part of the email where I'm introducing you to your partner. And I will email that to both your KW and your personal, and I'll CC your T group partner on there.
Okay.
So their contact information will be on an attachment in there, but if you wanted to immediately connect to them, just reply all to that email and say, hey, great to meet you, Richard. I'd love to, set up a time to chat, or hey, I can't wait to see you. Let me know if there's anything I need to know before I meet with you next week. So, yep, and Richard's great. And Sharon's also great, so you guys are both very good hands, and of course, I'm here for all the questions, I know there's a lot of information coming your way, lots of things that you're gonna be responsible for, so just let me know how I can help along the way, I'm happy to do that. But for starters, I just wanna say thank you guys for being here today, I appreciate it, I'll let you both go home and enjoy your weekends now, I promise.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, you guys have a great one, and thank you too, Genesis, you can also go home and enjoy your weekend if you want.
You too, bye.
And like I said, I will share that video with you too, so that way everyone knows how to do an email blast. Bye.